Hey guys, Martin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so as a lot of people are hoping for a LR Kefla as the Part 2 LR, or at least a new Kefla, it's been a while, right, ever since that asset was posted as part of a news update, implying that there was unused Kefla art floating around. People have wanted to see this for quite some time. I talked about her as an option in the video that I made talking about potential Part 2 LRs. But one thing that I've talked about, I think I mentioned it in that video. I know I talked about it when we were chatting on stream, but obviously, ideally, a new Part 2 LR Kefla would not start off as base, because then potentially this unit could maybe see a little bit of a resurgence, right? The STR Kefla with her Easy A. Because a Kefla would be on the 220% lead for Cell, like this Kefla is, right? Because they're on tournament participants, but they're also on accelerated battle. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at STR Kefla here on the 220% lead and see if she can do any good. Now, obviously, she is a character that can build up a lot of attack. We've got a really bad starting rotation here as well for her. She was on turn 2, and then the rotation is not exactly ideal. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hope Pycon can come in clutch with the dodge in slot 1 here. There we go. Because on Cell's team, the interesting thing is, of course, he is extreme, but he's not tied to being run with extreme allies, although obviously he is a Big Bad Boss's character. So Kefla being superclass doesn't matter too much for that setup. It does mean we actually get a use out of Pycon as well, with him being a superclass support unit. So you can see 14 million for the first super from Kefla. Then we don't get an additional. Good. And we don't get the dodges either. So definitely not a great start. Now, I guess the problem is, I suppose on this team, Cell himself, the STR Cell, doesn't really need orbs, right? Because he's just a TUR. He doesn't have any orb requirement in his passive, so that helps. But Kefla being like an orb-hungry character has always been like bad for her kit overall. I need to get this freezer floated off as well so we can get the rotation set up the way we want. To be honest, we probably should just do this, right? And just have the STR Cell friend get killed in slot 1 by Goku Black, who basically always supers in slot 1, and then get the revival here straight away, and then just be good to go. So, because he should die to this, right? Like, yeah, 1.56 million. Okay, so we'll get that out of the way. I wanted to do this one because obviously the int Zamasu at the end has a ton of HP, but rather than doing the Goku story one, because you fight the AGL Rose and Zamasu at the end, and I think Kefla potentially would just end up being like dodge or die against their normal attacks, which is not really what we want, right? So you have your domain. I mean, we could, if we really wanted to, just keep like, it's quite early to use it, I guess, but while we're trying to get our rotation set up, I guess we could just go ahead and Ghost Usher here with Pycon, and then we're going to have that Cell rotation back with the friend Cell. So let's do that. We can get the orbs for Kefla. Then we can get the orbs for Pycon as well. So start of turn 2. Obviously he's only got Fierce Battle active. We're at 386k defense, which again, not anything particularly crazy, but go ahead and do this. 17.4. I mean, she has the potential, if she gets enough attacks, right, to build up to some ridiculous levels. And obviously the point is, if we had a new Kefla, then of course they would be sharing almost the entirety of their link set, which would give her a massive buff, especially at like level 10 links, right? All of these attack links giving her a ton of extra percentage. But I mean, you can see here, she goes off, gets a few additional supers in. And then realistically, in the most difficult content, like if she can tank normals relatively well, even if it's like 50-60k, something like that, then you could probably argue that she'd still be somewhat usable because she's able to put out a lot of damage. Obviously, in the wrong situation, like if she eats a super from some of these toughest bosses now that we have in the meta, then obviously she is going to get destroyed. And it's unfortunate because, of course, she has the active skill that can be useful for the like orb changing and stuff against the Universe Survival Saga enemy. But the Universe Survival Saga stages are obviously kind of a no-go for her because Jiren disables dodge. So she's definitely not going to be strong enough defensively to be able to stand up to the Jiren bosses, right, with no dodge. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, if we get events, you know, events that aren't disabling dodge, and then like the final boss is physical, you could definitely see her like having a spot. Now the friend, if we go ahead and do this, we've got the active skill now. The friend has the post revive, like all the extra damage reduction. He should now be able to eat the super from Rosé in slot 1, right? So if we let's drop those down. So then we can grab all of those with Tech Cell, and then I guess we'll just grab orbs are really bad for this turn as well. I want to try and save some orbs like set up ready for Kefla, but oh wow, he's actually supering post Cell's super attack now as well. But yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of Cell. This is a Rainbow Cell friend linked up with Tech Cell, post revive, and he's got like a 20 mil with the active skill. He's doing 20 million, which it's not too crazy. Now, post-super, he will absolutely just eat this super from Rosé. I mean, I guess he does make up for a little bit with the sheer amount of super attacks that he can do in one turn. But yeah, his post-super defense is going to be really, really high, especially now. Is that 4 supers? So he's going to eat this super from Rosé. Even if he takes some damage as well, then Tech Cell is just going to do his... Oh wow, he isn't supering in slot 1. I can't remember the last time I saw that. And then yeah, Tech Cell 40 million. Is he going to super Tech Cell? That's kind of awkward. Wow. So he's either not supering this turn or he's actually supering in slot 3. You definitely don't see this very often. Second form Cell should be fine. A couple of additional normals, a bit annoying. Wow, he just didn't super this turn. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now we transform into Super Saiyan 2. This is where it gets a little bit awkward, because we have... He probably is going to super in slot 1 now. Ideally we want Goku to tank, but the problem is, of course, that Goku will kill him here, so we're not going to get any more stacks for Kefla. Yeah, I guess we'll just do that. Can't get a lot of orbs for Kefla on this turn either. I'm not sure about... Is this guy going to be okay in slot 1? Maybe we'll just go ahead and throw this out just in case. And then get the support from Pycon as well. Because surely he's going to super now this turn, because he didn't super, yeah, previously. Very, very rare that you see... Of course he did. Very rare that you see Rosé not supering in slot 1. Especially, or very rare you see him not supering at all on the entire turn. So... yeah, Goku actually won't kill him here, which means Kefla will get at least one more super attack off now in the Super Saiyan 2. Yeah, 20.5. I guess the biggest problem with her has always been the same thing as we could say for a lot of units that are stacking and like building up, is that if you get a few turns in a row where she gets stuck in a situation where she's not able to do multiple super attacks within the same turn, then obviously she's not going to look as good and not going to be able to build up as quickly, but pretty good there. Let me get the other cell domain. Of course, that was without the domain active to buff tournament participants, which we now have reactivated thanks to the other cell. So we can go ahead and do this. Because, yeah, tournament participant allies are getting 15% extra now. So I guess we'll just do that. Don't want to get rid of too many of like the rainbow orbs, but grab those for you. And then I guess if we just make sure you've got your active skill up as well, and just grab that for you. Leave those orbs there for the next turn. Okay, so he's going to super straight away. We got the Whis active, so the friend cell has like, what, 105% damage reduction against a super attack. Because the post revive one with the 30% extra from like against supers, he has like, is it 65, and then the Whis is another 40. So you don't have to worry about taking damage on this turn. So my biggest problem with this team is still like the slot 1 situation, and I feel like with the numbers and stuff that we are seeing from this STR Kefla, like if we did get a new LR, like say the part 2 LR was Kefla, and then we're thinking about using this STR EZA Kefla again, like the new one's going to have to be a slot 1 unit, which would be massively beneficial for this team anyway, because we need more slot 1s on this team. Because obviously Kefla, you don't want her in slot 1, just relying on like 50% chance to dodge, or she's just going to get destroyed even more in normal attacks, right? So the new Kefla would need to be a slot 1, and then ideally providing some support, maybe some orb changing, make things a little bit easier. I guess there's a lot of things that have to be working in the like STR Kefla's favour in order for her to look good, especially in some of these harder fights, which I think could potentially be an issue, because I guess it all depends, right? Cell Max came out as a yellow coin LR and was like immediately in like, you know, the top, arguably top 3 like LRs in the game on release. Top 5 probably minimum, like when he came out, right? Obviously he fell off kind of quickly, which is unfortunate, but like for a yellow coin LR, it's not very often that they come out and are like top of the meta, like super good. So whilst we always want to have realistic expectations, I'm kind of hoping that at least this part 2 LR is going to be decent. But recently, Dokkan, we've gone through quite an interesting spate of like not getting crazy good like slot 1 units. So what does your active skill do? It doesn't actually give you any defense, does it? It just heals and then turns physical orbs into rainbow orbs, which is actually not really helpful on this particular turn. So if we do that, then we can get our orbs for Kefla. So Kefla, start of this turn with no support. She's only got Tournament of Power and Fierce Battle. She's got 400k defense. And I guess, yeah, that is the biggest issue with her, right? Is she doesn't have any defensive tech outside of the dodge chance. So I'm not sure what overall damage Zamasu does with his AoEs, but if she doesn't dodge, there is the potential. I mean, we'll see what happens, right? If she doesn't dodge and she gets one shot, then rip, I guess, any real like thoughts of using her in the meta again. But she got the dodge. I mean, that's one of those things. Characters who have dodge, even if it's, you know, you're relying on RNG, you are going to get like those clutch runs where they are able to dodge everything and then you win, even like in situations where, you know, you could take them into a tough fight where a single missed dodge means like the run is over, which those kind of things are not necessarily fun to do. But when you're going for specific team challenges or something like that and there are no other options on the team, characters that have to rely on dodge, at least they have the chance that they could get the job done, whereas characters who have aged out completely defensively and were just supposed to tank hits obviously become completely unusable. So there is always that possibility that you run Kefla against these bosses that don't disable dodge, and then well, here we go. This is the true alright, we dodged that. I do want to see her take a normal now post super. She dodged the super attack, which is the most important thing. But yeah, she dodged everything, and this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, you could have these runs where these characters just dodge like all the incoming attacks, and then we don't even need to worry about like how much damage she would have taken. I guess we can double check. Let me bring up the stats here for this Zamasu, and we'll see what his normal attacks do. It's the Vegeta story. Future Trunks Saga. Yeah, so his normals do 1.6 million. He doesn't raise on Super, so yeah, it's just 1.6 million. Which, I guess what, she was at 400k start of turn. And then, if we take a look at her passive. So, when attacking, she gets 120% defense. So she does go up to, what was like 800 and odd K, 850, we could say. And then, does she get defense on her super attack effect? Yeah, she does great. She raises defense for 1 turn. So in a turn where she gets like 2 or 3 supers, she's going to be over 1 million defense. So if his normals do 1.6, I think basically we're kind of in a situation with the HP that we have on this team. If she fails to get a dodge, she could tank like 1 normal. And I say tank, I just mean not immediately die, because she would probably take like maybe like 600k. So of course that's not ideal, and doesn't make her like an optimal choice for some of these tougher enemies, but she kind of gets away with being usable because of the dodge. Like imagine if the part 2 LR was a Kefla who you can go in slot 1, and then her ability is to give like allies additional dodge chance, or you know, I don't know if they'll throw this mechanic out too much, because we've already talked in the past about how Super Saiyan 4 Goku seems to have like affected the meta, but imagine if she gave allies like damage reduction, then obviously that would make Kefla somewhat more usable again. She doesn't have a lot of links that are like defensively, like, you know, like the fact that she doesn't have a ton of links active on this particular setup doesn't really matter a huge amount. Like, let me bring up her link set here, especially if we go to like Super Saiyan 2. I guess Warriors of Universe 6 gives defense at level 10. It's only like 6%. Tournament of Power gives 7% defense at level 10, which obviously she does have with the Goku. Great, I didn't even see who ate the super there for 1.6. Was it? It can't have been Cell post-super, right? Was it Pycon? Pycon didn't dodge? Well, either way, so, I mean, STR Kefla put on a decent enough performance, but obviously not like a crazy go-to unit for this team. If the Part 2 LR is Kefla, I feel like she'd have to be doing quite a lot to make this unit like a good choice for the team, which then of course is a shame, because then the new Kefla would not exactly have a go-to link partner either, which is a bit disappointing. I mean, obviously for other teams with Saiyans and stuff, if she's not built around being solely like on tournament participants or something like that, I guess. And obviously on tournament participants you do have the option of running, like we could have run the STR Goku and Gohan, and then we'd have had some links like Super Saiyan and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, she wasn't the one that got us killed, so as long as she's dodging, she can still do some sort of meta-relevant levels of damage, but not sure if she's gonna see a comeback, even if the Part 2 LR is Kefla. But let me know what you guys think down below. Would you use this Kefla again if a new Kefla came out? What would you like to see a new Kefla do if the Part 2 LR was indeed her? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.